Welcome to beautiful Duncan Park. You've heard it for years. Now it's time to get to know the man who made it famous. Pat Williams has worn many hats in sports management, but his first, as an executive, was a Spartanburg Phillies baseball cap. The three-sport high school player from Delaware ended up at Wake Forest, where he was a school Hall of Fame catcher for the Demon Deacons. Williams said his time at Wake Forest laid the foundation for everything he's done since. Everything he's done since is quite a lot. From organizational management in baseball, an NBA championship, and the foundation of a successful expansion team in basketball and beyond, Williams' successes have been staggering. It all started in Spartanburg. After college, Williams spent 2 years in the Phillies organization playing pro baseball, then went to graduate school at the University of Indiana. Then he had a military commitment. When that finished, around Christmas of 1964, he got word that the Phillies thought he was ready to move up to be general manager of one of their farm clubs.
He told me about Spartanburg, and I thought it through, and I said, I think that's where I'm going to go. And I took that job knowing nobody in Spartanburg. I was 24 years old. The Phillies told me what to do, where to report when I got to town. And I remember arriving on a cold, rainy, wet Sunday afternoon in February of 1965. And I was told to go to the house of the owner, one of the owners of the club, Mr. R.E. Littlejohn. And I did that and knocked on the door. His wife came to the door and explained to me that he was away that day, but he would see me the next day at his office. And then, just before she closed the door, she said, no matter how long you're in ball, that's what she called it, ball, she said, you will never meet another man like my husband. Well, I never had heard a wife say that before.
Right.
I've never heard a wife say that since, but she was right. Mr. Littlejohn had a huge influence on me, a huge impact on me. And that was the beginning of 4 memorable years here running the Phillies Farm Club in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Memorable is an understatement. Under Williams' management, the Phillies set every attendance record for the South Atlantic League at the time. Crowds of 5,000 or more were common during his tenure, due in large part to the creative and innovative marketing and promotions of the team. Williams learned from the legendary Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Bill Veeck, whose promotions as owner of several major league teams set the standard for the industry.
And Bill Veeck's theory, his philosophy, was simply this. He said you cannot sell the game, particularly in minor league baseball, on the won and loss column. He said it's too risky. He said you don't know the players you're going to get, you don't know the level of competence your team is going to have, and you can't guarantee anything. He said, you can guarantee that every time someone comes to your ball game, they're going to have fun. They're going to have a memorable experience. He said those are things that you can really line up. And the other thing he said was, and you never know from night to night something that may pop up that you can take advantage of to promote or to sell.
Take Penns, for example. With rostered players named John Parker and John Penn, and playing on the popularity of the Parker Company's writing instruments, Williams envisioned and promoted Parker Pen Night. He tracked down the company, secured gift merchandise, and planned the promotion around a game. A game, he said, that was canceled due to the worst rainstorm in the history of Spartanburg. That weekend, John Penn's wife was due to give birth. Soon after, John Parker was to be called up into the Army. No problem.
We rescheduled it, and John Parker got a leave from the military, and John Penn's baby had been born, and we redid it on a good weather night.
Then there were the special guests. Williams scheduled Bart Starr Night, taking advantage of the popularity of the Green Bay Packers QB. Johnny Unitas visited. Oscar Robertson came to Spartanburg and has been a friend to Williams since. Baseball legends Satchel Paige, Veeck, and Max Patkin all made stops. Most pale in Williams' memory, though, to Henry Lamoth and his famed flying squirrel dive. Williams remembers the bald, slender Frenchman in his planned entertainment, diving 40 feet off a ladder into 18 inches of water. The pool was placed on the first base side of Duncan Park. Lamothe emerged in a one-piece bathing suit and a bathing cap, clambered up the ladder, and had someone measure the depth of his pool, and off he went. Williams explained that Lamothe was able to arch his back in a way that allowed him to hit the water flat on his belly.
He emptied all the water in doing this all over the first base side of the ballpark. And we had to bring the ground crew out and figure out a way to dry all this up before the start of the game. But little Henry Lamothe, I never will forget him.
Williams soon got the chance to move up the sports ladder, taking what he learned in Spartanburg with him.
Well, I got the offer to leave after the '68 season and go to Philadelphia with the 76ers. They had just traded Wilt Chamberlain to the Lakers, and it was going to be could have been a struggling year.
Right.
But here was the thing. The accusation was, this stuff will fly in Spartanburg.
Right.
But at a major city, a big league level, no, it's not going to work. Well, I was determined to prove that it would work.
Right.
And so we took everything other than Henry Lamothe up to Philadelphia and built it right into the fiber of those 41 home games. It did exactly the same thing. And then a year later, when I got the call to go to Chicago, we did the same thing. Now, at that level, you've got a little bigger budget to work with.
Right.
You can go hire Victor the Wrestling Bear. You can bring in Uncle Heavy and his pork chop review. That's a trained pig act. We had the funding to do that. But you're always looking for something off the charts, something always a little bit different.
Williams' subsequent career was both off the charts and a little different. Having won a world championship, he was restless, and when an insistent businessman offered the ultimate challenge, building an expansion team, Williams jumped at it.
Starting up a team from scratch, naming it, designing a logo, colors, getting an arena built, all of the above. That's the ultimate challenge.
The result of that challenge was the Orlando Magic. Now he's involved in a group trying to bring baseball to Orlando. And as life sometimes comes full circle, Williams was back in Spartanburg recently, even before the announcement that minor league baseball is coming back to the city. While here, he spoke to Dorman's baseball team, and he was able to tour Duncan Park, where it all started so many years ago. He was thankful for a driver, since most of the landmarks he remembers are vastly different. And above all, he's thankful for his time in Spartanburg.
Spartanburg's got a unique spirit to it. I knew that when I was here. There's something about Spartanburg that's pretty special. Pretty special. It's a friendly town. It's a town with a real spirit and vision. I'm excited about Spartanburg. I'm very proud to tell people that my career really started here in Spartanburg. And everything that I've encountered over these 50 plus years, it all refers back to Spartanburg. Something happened here that carried on later, years down the road, and I said, boy, I've been through this before in Spartanburg. And I learned from that, and the city of Spartanburg and all that happened here gave me a real foundation.